welcome back. So today we're gonna make no-sew scrunchies, and the reason I chose no-sew scrunchies is because not everybody has access to a sewing machine and not everybody knows how to use one. So that's why we're gonna make scrunchies that don't actually require a sewing machine today. So I'm gonna go over what you're gonna need and then we'll get started. So you're gonna need some elastic. This I got at Fabricland. You're gonna need a pair of scissors, a couple safety pins. The larger you can get, the better. Mine are a little bit small, but if you can get larger ones, that works the best. You're gonna need a ruler, and then you're gonna need some fabric, of course. Mine I also got from Fabricland. And then lastly, you're going to need a hot glue gun. So go ahead and grab those supplies, and then we're gonna get started. Okay, so now that you have all of your supplies ready to go, what I need you to do is take your fabric and cut out a piece that is 4.5 inches tall and then 22 inches long. Okay, so make sure that it's 4.5 inches on either side here and then 22 inches long like that, okay? So pause the video and go ahead and do that. Now what I need you to do is take your fabric from the right side up and flip it over so that it's the wrong side up. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our hot glue gun and glue a row of glue on this side here that's 4.5 inches. So we're doing a line of glue, just like that. And then quickly before it dries, we're going to flip this edge over and push it down like that. So we just folded up the edge just a little bit. So now we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. We're going to glue a row. I'm gonna get a tiny bit of glue in my corner there. Okay, just like that. And then same thing, we are going to flip it over like that. And then just push it down. Okay, so now we're on to the next step here. So go ahead and do that on both sides if you haven't already. Now what we're gonna do is we are going to flip over our piece of fabric here, and we are actually going to, what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold it in half this way. But first we need to put a line of glue at the edge here as we go. So we are going to eventually flip the entire thing and it's going to be folded in half like that. But we need to make sure that we have our line of glue on as well. So watch carefully. So I'm going to take my glue stick and just glue a row at the top. I'm gonna go for a little bit here. Okay, I'm gonna stop because this glue is going to start drying. So we wanna flip this over and put it on top before it dries, like that. Perfect. Now we're gonna continue adding glue on our top here. Okay, I'm going to stop again, and I'm going to continue folding here. Try and get them to be nice and even on the top as you can. We're going to keep going. So just keep doing that. I'm doing probably 5 or so inches at a time on the top before I fold my fabric over. And be very careful when working with hot glue. It can be very stringy, but also you don't want to get too much on your hands because you don't want to burn your hands. Okay, so we're almost done here. I'm gonna add another glue stick to my glue gun, and we are going to continue on the top. I'm gonna try and do the whole rest of the way like that. There we go. So we are going to fold this in half now as best we can. Hopefully it hasn't dried too much. If your glue does end up drying quickly, just go ahead and do it again. So mine dried too fast, so I'm just gonna take that glue off, and then we're gonna do a smaller section, and then we're gonna flip it over again. Okay, so let's try this again. I'm gonna do a smaller section this time. So we're gonna go to there, we're gonna stop, and then I'm going to flip my edge over, just like that. Okay, almost there. Last little section here. And it's okay if it's not perfectly straight up at the top here, because it is going to be a scrunchie, so you're really not going to be able to tell too much if it's not totally perfect everywhere. Okay, so now that we've got that part done, what I need you to do is grab your safety pins and your elastic, and then we will finish off our scrunchie. Okay, so now that you have your safety pin ready to go, we are going to take our scrunchie. We're gonna take one side of our fabric here and just pin the safety pin on it. And then what we're gonna do from there is we're actually going to feed the safety pin through the body of the scrunchie. So we're actually just going to kind of take the safety pin and feed it through all the way until we get to the other side of our scrunchie, and that's what's going to turn it inside out. So this is where, when you have a bigger safety pin, it will come in handy, but we're just going to feed it through to the very end, and then we're going to turn it inside out. So go ahead, get your safety pin to the very end on the other side, and then we will go from there. Okay, so once you start feeding your safety pin through, you'll get to a point where you get to the very end, and that's when you're actually going to pull your scrunchie completely inside out, is when the safety pin gets to the very end. So go ahead and pull the scrunchie completely inside out. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to remove the safety pin here just for a second. Now this is where we are going to need to grab our elastic. So go ahead and grab your elastic here, and you're going to need a second safety pin for the next part as well. So what I need you to do with your elastic is cut a 10-inch piece of elastic. So cut a piece of elastic that is 10 inches long and then come back. Okay, so now that I've cut a 10-inch piece of elastic, go ahead and grab your safety pins. So what we're gonna do is we are going to safety pin one side of the elastic, and we're going to pin it to one side of our scrunchie, just like that. Okay, now with your second safety pin, you're going to pin it on the other side of the elastic, just like that. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're going to take this part of the safety pin that's connected to the elastic only, and we are going to feed it through our scrunchie, just like what we did earlier, except now we are feeding an elastic through. So go ahead and get it to the point where your safety pin makes it to the other side of your scrunchie. And again, this is where having a larger safety pin will work to your advantage. So go ahead and feed it through all the way to the other end of your scrunchie. So as you can see, I've almost got my safety pin through to the other side of my scrunchie here. So just keep feeding it through until you get to the other side. Okay, so I've made it through to the other side of my scrunchie. So this part you have to be very careful. You're gonna remove the safety pin from both sides of the elastic. Now you have to be careful here because if you let go of one of the sides of your elastic, you will lose your elastic inside your scrunchie. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna tie a knot as tight or as loose as you want. It depends how round you want your scrunchie. So if you want it to be tighter, a tighter scrunchie, you're going to tie a knot tighter and closer to the middle. Whereas if you want a looser scrunchie, I would tie a knot right at the ends here, which would make it a much bigger scrunchie. So for me, I'm gonna tie my knot a few inches into the elastic here because I want mine to be a little bit tighter. So I'm gonna go ahead and just tie a basic knot. Like that. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your scissors and cut each end of your elastic. Like that. Okay, so now what I need you to do is go ahead and grab your hot glue gun, and then we're gonna come back and do the last step. Okay, so the very last step, you have two sides of your scrunchie that are gonna be open. You're gonna tuck one side of your scrunchie into the other side. And then all you're gonna do is you're gonna take your hot glue gun and glue the edges down. So just keep gluing all of your edges down until they are completely glued down. Just like that. Okay, and there we have it. We have a no-sew scrunchie. So this is a really great way to make a scrunchie if you don't have a sewing machine or you don't know how to sew. So you can do tons of fun patterns here. I got this really nice blue floral pattern, and then I also got, when I was at Fabricland, a nice white and red and pink kind of floral pattern that I'll show you in a second here. And it's all at Fabricland. They have tons of different fabrics that you can use to make these scrunchies, and they're obviously super easy to make and lots of fun, and you can use them. So that's it for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed what we made today, and I would love for you to send me a picture of your scrunchie. I would love to see what pattern you chose and how you found the video. So that's it for today, and I will see you next time.